During her 20 years as master blender, a historic role that she took on with her usual positive outlook and quiet strength, Joy has created some of the finest rums that the world has ever seen, including Appleton Estate Reserve Blend and Appleton Estate Rare Blend 12-year-old. She has also created the limited edition rums, Appleton Estate 30-year-old Jamaica rum, Appleton Estate 250th anniversary blend, which was created to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Appleton Estate, and the Appleton Estate 50-year-old Jamaica rum, a 50-year-old minimum age rum that was created to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jamaica's independence. These are without contradiction among the world's finest rums, but Joy has also created libations for the ordinary man like me in Magnum and others. Truly, she spans the full spectrum in her exotic creations of the finest blends, as much as she has with people from all walks of life.
Today is not only a celebration of joy, but also the launch of the Year of Joy. So we wanted to give you a sneak peek of some of the activities that we are planning in 2017 to celebrate Joy's 20th anniversary as Master Blender. The global plan that we have created to celebrate this special milestone has been built upon 3 pillars. The first pillar celebrates 2 of Joy's passions outside of creating exceptional rums. That is Jamaica's cuisine and mentoring young people. For the Appleton Estate Taste Program, Joy will partner with a Jamaican chef to combine their experiences and expertise to create Jamaican-inspired recipes paired with our delicious Appleton Estate premium rums. These recipes and rum pairings will then be used around the world to celebrate Joy's anniversary and to promote Appleton Estate and Jamaica. As the world's first female master blender, Joy has always been very encouraging of women who work in our industry. And our second program, Appleton Estate Celebrate, will, as its name implies, celebrate females in the spirit industry. Celebrate will be launched on National Women's Day in 2017, and throughout the year, Joy will mentor female bartenders, specially selected from our markets around the world. The program will culminate in November when these ladies travel to Jamaica to meet Joy in person, visit the newly renovated Appleton Estate Rum Tour and Visitor Center, and enjoy an itinerary specially curated for them, including a philanthropic activity chosen by Joy and supported by the JWN Foundation. Our second pillar is all about educating the world about premium rum and Appleton Estate, and in 2017, Joy will visit over 12 countries to spread, pardon the pun, the joy of rum. The list of countries that Joy will visit is varied and includes core export markets such as the United States and the United Kingdom, as well as non-traditional markets such as Singapore, Greece, Argentina, New Zealand, Peru, and Switzerland. I think that this list doesn't only demonstrate that Joy will be traveling a lot in 2017, but it also showcases Appleton Estate's diverse footprint around the world. But before you cast a jealous eye at Joy for what you perceive to be a very exotic vacation schedule, let me assure you that I've gone on many of the trips, and they're actually the furthest thing from a vacation that you could ever imagine. But well worth it, because Joy is celebrating, is obviously promoting Appleton Estate in Jamaica. And the final pillar, and the centerpiece of the celebration, will be the release of a limited edition rum which celebrates the passion, expertise, and artistry that Joy has brought to Appleton Estate. This rare and elegant aged rum is a culmination of Joy's pioneering spirit, inventive mind, and dedication to her craft, and will be launched in Jamaica and around the world in 2017 to celebrate Joy and her achievements.
Track and field has Usain Bolt. Tennis has Serena Williams. J. Ray and nephew has who? Joy Spence. Yes, indeed. Joy Spence, a trailblazer in the spirits industry and the creator of some of the world's most wonderful and finest rums. Joy, no words can express the level of commitment and dedication that you have put into your work as a master blender. Your high quality service, as well as your contributions to the spirit industry, are greatly valued and are well respected worldwide. Over the last 20 years, you have helped to solidify the J, Ray, and Neville brand by creating rums that have become an emblem that Jamaicans hold so closely and dearly to their hearts. We all know we cannot board a flight at the Norman Manley Airport without a bottle of white rum or some Appleton Estate. Today, we honor you not only as a master blender of fine spirits, but as someone who has broken the glass ceiling and has mastered the ability to make your passion for the arts and sciences into a successful career. That has contributed significantly, I must say, to our country, Jamaica, and all Jamaicans can identify with that. I am proud, extremely proud, to be standing in your company, congratulating you on 20 years as a master blender. Jamaica and all Jamaicans are truly blessed to have you. Thank you. Thank you for your wonderful contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, I will ask that you raise your glass in toast. Cheers, Joy Spence.
Accounting software selection and implementation. With the number of computerized accounting software packages available for small businesses and individuals growing every day, selecting one that is right for you has become increasingly difficult. As accounting professionals, we have knowledge of most programs, either through personal experience or industry literature. Our experienced staff can help you choose and implement the system that best fits your needs. For more information and to discuss your requirements with one of our experts, please contact us today. Email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
One of the first things I'll say about Mommy, and somehow only my brother and my father seem to share this sentiment, is that Mommy is one of the most miserable persons I know. A trait I unfortunately inherited, right? But the reason that she's miserable is because of the perfectionist that she is, right? Everything has to be in place. She takes everything on her head, no matter what, even if it doesn't have to do with her. But because of that, she's one of the most selfless persons that I know. Mommy puts everybody before herself, and I mean everybody. It doesn't matter who you are. She tries to help everybody that she comes into contact with. There's a term called pay it forward, which, you do something for somebody and then they in turn do it for somebody else. But not only does Mommy pay it forward, but somehow she manages to pay it backwards, because everybody that she does something for turns around and does something back for her. So to give you an example, I remember a long time ago, this was shortly after my parents had just finished remodeling the house that they now live in. And I went to the house, came home one evening, and I saw this table around the back, and the surface was redone nicely, broken tiles, very fancy looking. And I said, Mommy, who did this? She said, oh, the tiler just showed up and said he was gonna do it for her free of cost, because when he was working on the house, Mommy took care of him, and he was truly grateful for how she treated him. And that's just the type of person that she is. No matter who they are, she looks out for everybody's best interest. And that's CNN Mom. So I couldn't say anything about Mommy without using the term CNN Mom, and only my immediate family know what CNN Mom is. Anything you want to know, ask CNN Mom. But it's not because she fast, is because people just gravitate towards her and they're just so comfortable telling her things. Mommy will be giving stories about people and say, Mommy, how you know the people business? And she say, I didn't ask, they just told me. But that is the type of person that Mommy is, right? And somehow my grandparents, when they were giving her the name, they just knew what it would be because she brings so much joy to the people that she interacts with.
I can still remember. Joy, should I tell them the year? Oh my goodness. Let me just say it was before she even started at Rhea Nephew, so you know how long ago that was. And I was in third form, waiting in my classroom for our chemistry teacher. But that was not quite fun. Why? Because he was a kind of wet blanket teacher, if you know what I mean. Any little spark of excitement and enthusiasm you had, he would just smolder it and kill it, stifle it. So as usual, my seat was right in front of the corridor, and I see it as clear as day now. And when I looked down the corridor, I see this lady coming down. Oh man, she had a walk. I cannot find one word to describe it. It was brisk, it was purposeful, it was graceful. It was as if I am on a mission. You want me to show you it? Yes. It was something like, and us girls were all saying, wow. And I thought to myself, there comes a real lady. But the interesting thing, she didn't pass our classroom. She came into the classroom, and I'm looking at it right now. And she introduced herself as Joy Bateman, it was at the time. And she said, I'm your new chemistry teacher. Oh! Lord have mercy. She transformed that classroom in an instant. She had us playing games, nursery rhymes, so many different things. I can still remember the little gem I put together to remember the elements of the periodic table, thanks to Joy. And from that moment, I called her mentor.
Joy Spence was born in the parish of Manchester, but has called Kingston her home since she was 2 years old. She fell in love with chemistry at the age of 13, encouraged by her beloved chemistry teacher at Holy Childhood High School, Eldora Mills, and had dreams of becoming a scientist. Little did she know that her passion for chemistry would one day translate into an illustrious career as J. Navy Limited and Appleton Estates Master Blender, and the first female to be appointed Master Blender in the entire world. After high school, Joy attended the University of the West Indies and graduated in 1972 with a Bachelor of Science degree in chemistry with a first-class honors. Yes. She then spent a few years teaching before moving to England to pursue a Master of Science degree in analytical chemistry at the University of Loughborough. Joy graduated with honors and set a record for the highest final exam scores ever attained by a student at Loughborough, a record that stands to this day. After graduating from Loughborough, Joy returned to Jamaica and to teaching before joining J. Navy Limited in 1979 as chief chemist. In this capacity, Joy worked closely with esteemed master blender, Owen Tuller, and this sparked a passion for the art of creating rum. Over the next 16 years, under his expert guidance, Joy extended her knowledge of the science of the rum-making process to include the artistic side as well, honing her sensory skills and developing an unrivaled mastery of flavors and aromas. Then, in 1997, Joy made history when she broke the spirit industry glass ceiling when she was appointed the world's first female master blender. Joy has created some of the finest rums that the world has ever seen, including Appleton Estates Reserve Blend and Appleton Estates Rare Blend 12-year-old. She also created the limited edition rums, Appleton Estate 30-year-old, Jamaica Rum,
the Appleton Estate 250th Anniversary Blend, which was created to celebrate the 250th anniversary of the Appleton Estate and the Appleton Estate 50-year-old Jamaica rum, a 50-year-old minimum age rum that was created to celebrate the 50th anniversary of Jamaica's independence. Joy has been recognized by the spirit industry, academia, and the Jamaican government for her achievement. In 2005, she received the Order of Distinction in the rank of officer for her service to industry. In 2012, Joy received an Honorary Doctor of Science degree from the University of Loughborough and an Honorary Doctor of Laws degree from the University of the West Indies. She received the Golden Rum Barrel Pioneer Award in 2011 for her outstanding achievement in the industry. And in 2016, she was named Golden Rum Barrel's Master Influential Rum Blender in the last 10 years. For her 35 years of service to the company and the international spirits industry, J. Ray & Neville Limited honors Master Blender Joy Spence, a remarkable woman who embodies passion, love, and above all else, joy.
It is my distinct pleasure to raise a toast to happiness, enjoyment, and joy. Please raise your glasses in a toast to this wonderful lady who has made us all proud, and for women indeed in this great country. To joy.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
I thank you all for coming this afternoon and sharing this very special occasion with me. It is not very often that a product is done by Ray & Neville and I'm not aware of its contents. But for today, I must confess that while I was aware of this occasion, try as I may, the makeup of the program was kept from me. Very unusual indeed. Those who belong to Ray & Neville know about the hallway gossip. Team, I'm really humbled by this wonderful occasion, and I thank you all. My family is very important to me, and I'm glad that they're here to share this occasion with me. I thank them for their support, as they have always been a great source of strength and inspiration for me. Where I am is due to the foundation laid by my parents, who taught me to put my heart, mind, and soul into even the smallest actions, and success will be my reward. I'm so sorry that they're not alive to share this special event with me. The words of Maya Angelou define my mission, and I quote, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some style, and some humor. All of these qualities contribute to my achievements, and those who know me know that I'm not just a straight-laced chemist. I dance in the lab, I give jokes in the lab, I kiss in the lab."
Ooh.
On the cheek, on the cheek. I could not let this occasion pass, however, without mentioning my mentor, teacher, and great friend, Master Blender, Owen Tulloh, without whom I would not be here today. I'd also like to mention my alma mater, Holy Childhood High School, because I have sister and the head girl and deputy head girl here, because this actually laid the basic foundation for me. Tracy, this is where I learned discipline and miserableness from Sister Stephanie. And I had no choice but to pass it on. Also, being punctual, because there would be detention if you came to school late. Eventually, I became head girl, and I have to tell you, Madam Master of Ceremonies, dancing got me into trouble as head girl, because I took the entire school to a dance competition. I was the choreographer, the designer, and it so happens that the finals of the competition was on a school day. We had to leave to dance because there was a cash prize. Anyway, we were able to smooth it out because we won the gold medal, got the cash prize, and gave sister the money. So things were sorted out, although we had to carry an excuse from our parents. So we left school at 7:10 a.m., did not return to Sister Stephanie until about 6 o'clock in the evening, because I had to follow each child to their home to explain to their parents why they weren't at school and that sister's asking for an excuse. So that's how I developed leadership qualities. So to my Rendezvous team and the wider group of Campari community, I say thanks for all the support and encouragement you have given me over the years. To everyone around the world, and in particular, as we say in our lingo, my Jamaican peeps, who have brought me great joy by drinking my rum creations, I thank you all. You may forget the things I have said and the things I did, but I hope you never forget the way I make you feel when the spirits I provide. Continue to delight your palates with the finest rums in the world, but please do so responsibly.
I'm actually very pleased to be here today. I am not a rum drinker, never had rum before, but I can absolutely appreciate being a Jamaican and being a woman and having Jamaica having the distinguished privilege of having Joy Spence, the first female master blender in the world, a fellow Jamaican. She is an exciting woman. I'm actually happy to see a female so interested in chemistry and one who is willing to pass on the zeal and love for the sciences and chemistry to other Jamaicans.
You know, Joy has been an institution within an institution. Her work is the finest in the world, and that's exemplified by the brands, the blends that she has created. And of course, being the first female blender on the globe, you can understand how emotional, passionate we are about her and her work.
Oh, it is an awesome feeling. I feel very humbled, and I really have to thank the Rendezvous family and of course the wider group of Campari community for actually arranging this function and this celebratory event. I was very surprised about the event, and I must say I am very grateful for this particular occasion.
And that's it from us here at the Terra Nova All Suite Hotel at the luncheon honoring Master Blender Joy Spence. I'm Leroy Hall for Business Access TV, serious about business.
All across Liberty Latin America, we are celebrating International Women's Day, which is being recognized globally under the theme, Each for Equal. Today in Jamaica, we're no different. We're kicking off our celebrations with a summit under the same theme, but focused on a passion for action. We brought together our team members from all across the business, male and female, to talk about being passionate about action. We also brought in a special guest, Audrey Hinchcliffe, who was able to share her journey, pretty much giving tips and insights on what it takes to be a female leader in business. And then we had our panel discussion, focused on what do we need to change the narrative. And we had with us Empress Golding, who is an advocate. We had Dennis Brooks, who is a journalist and educator. And they were joined by our own Susanna O'Sullivan, who is our first female director of technology operations across the CNW group. It was a phenomenal day. Our team members were inspired, they were challenged, and we had really honest conversations, which we feel is a part of changing the narrative and moving the conversation forward. This year, we're all committed to being each for equal. We're all committed to ensuring that even as we look at what we can do individually, we are looking at what we can do and how we can make this bigger and better collectively. Passion for action starts not just with us here in the business, it starts with everyone. Flo would have embarked on a journey at the end of 2018 when our country manager, Stephen Price, signed on to support the Win-Win program under UN Women. And the Win-Win program is really about a commitment to establishing and progressing your organization as a gender-balanced workplace. After making that commitment, we would have looked at different things in the organizations. We would have had feedback over the years from team members. And in March of 2019, we announced that we were looking at rolling out a parental leave policy. By June of that same year, we were able to roll out a parental leave policy for all our team members. And this has really transformed the workplace for us. It has also triggered a national conversation as more and more persons recognize that being a man at home in those early days is not just about taking the time off and, as some men would say, helping out. It's about being an equal partner in that journey. And we're happy that we are one of the pioneers of that discussion. And to be fair and to note, this was not just being done in Flow, Jamaica. This was something that was rolled out in every subsidiary in the Liberty Latin America group. Subsequent to that, we've also spoken about manager hours, and we've rolled that policy out as well, where we allow some flexibility in terms of your work hours, which allows if you have medical appointments, if you need to be at home to take care of a sick child or a loved one, maybe it's your parent. We allow some flexibility in terms of whether you can come in later or you leave earlier, or we look at an arrangement where you can work from home for a period of time. And this is about, again, promoting gender balance in the workplace and allowing that equal opportunity to all employees. We've also moved forward, and as we speak about each for equal, here we've shattered the glass ceiling with the appointment of our first female director of technology operations in Susanna O'Sullivan. We're a company with over 100 years of history, and for the very first time, we have a female heading up what is a core aspect of our business. And this for us is a major indicator of how committed we are to moving this forward, to demonstrating that we're not just about signing on to a principle, signing on to a philosophy, but we are committed to taking concrete steps and definitive action to advancing real change in the workplace as we do each for equal.
You may have to adapt a little bit differently because the stigma does exist.
So I was recently appointed to the Senior Director of Technical Operations role. That role covers Jamaica and Cayman. And what it does, it oversees the teams that are responsible for construction of our infrastructure, network infrastructure, maintenance of our infrastructure, and installation and repairs from a customer standpoint. So being the first female to be appointed to this role in over 100 years is testimony to the changes in the dynamics of our industry and just the country as a whole, right? There's a lot more emphasis on equality. There's a lot more emphasis on ensuring that women have a seat at the table at the senior leadership level. So it's a positive move. What it means for me, it means that there's a lot of pressure. It means that I have broken through the glass ceiling, and it means that there is no room to fail, that I have to ensure that I excel in this role. What it says is that we've been talking a lot about gender equality, but there hasn't been a lot of action behind it. And I often feel that we tend to use it as a reason to define our success. What this says is that we can own our own success as individuals. As women, it means that there are opportunities there that will present themselves, and that is possible. So I do see it as an inspiration. Each for equal for me means that we need to look beyond gender. We need to recognize competence. We need to recognize the person and not the gender of that individual. That is what it means for me.
Each for Equal is about supporting each other. It's about empowering our young women. It's about helping them up. Each for Equal means if I have attained a certain level of success, I need to look at those who are coming behind me, and I need to look at how I too can also help them reach that same level of success. And then it's also about the relationships at home. It's about the dynamics between the male and the female in the relationship. What are the responsibilities? Are they shared? Are they assigned? Each for Equal means standing up for each other, being balanced in the assignment of work. It also means that we're looking at fairness across the organizations across the country.
I would like to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day.
I just want to wish everyone a happy International Women's Day.
Happy International Women's Day! Can't ball in a life, man.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
It's International Women's Day, being observed under the theme, I Am Generation Equality, Realizing Women's Rights. According to UNWomen.org, the year 2020 is a pivotal one for advancing gender equality worldwide as the global community takes stock of progress made for women's rights since the adoption of the Beijing Platform for Action. Welcome to Jamaica Magazine. I'm Theodore Henry. Coming up in today's magazine, we'll highlight some of Jamaica's influential women and help you find your passion. You don't want to miss a minute, so stay tuned. Today Today on Get the Facts, Dr. Shim Hugh shares how you can find your passion and perhaps use it to make some money.
Welcome to Get the Facts, the program that provides you with information on government's policies and initiatives. I'm Carrie-Ann Smith-McIntosh, sitting in for Entros Campbell. Today we're switching things up a little bit because we want to help you with a critical aspect of your life. And this, I guarantee, will set the pace for years to come. We're talking about finding your passion. Joining us is someone who is no stranger to the Get the Facts set, Dr. Sasha Shim-Hugh, who is a manager in the Workforce Development and Employment Division at Heart National Service Training Agency Trust. Dr. Shim-Hugh, welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so we want to get straight into the meat of the matter. What is passion?
To answer that question, I'll pose another question. What are you passionate about? Truly, passion is what drives you. It's the verb. It is something that you think about late in the night. It wakes you up. You can't shake it any at all. You believe that your life will be complete once you are able to achieve or do these things. That's what passion really is. That thing in the bottom of your belly that you feel, having done that, life would be perfect.
Wow. And does everyone have passion?
Yes, but not everybody is in tune with their passion, and that's what makes the difference.
Okay, so how do you discover your passion? And I would like a step-by-step process because, you know, I need to connect with it. How do you discover it?
So passion first is based on that thing that you think about. So if it is that there's something that you believe that once you have achieved it, life would be complete, that is first what your passion is, and it's tied to your purpose. Having identified what your passion is, it requires more research. It's not just, okay, I love to speak, I'm going to be a great public speaker, so I'm going to quit my 9 to 5. It's really about researching what it will take to make sure that my passion is aligned with my purpose and is aligned with my pocket. So I also find out from other persons, how can this passion that I have lying deep within can be materialized? What funds do I need, if any at all? Do I need to go back to school? Do I need to speak with someone who is living their same passion, one that is similar to mine, out loud? So research is key. And in my case, I tie everything to that of spirituality. So I pray about it.
Okay.
And so that makes a difference for me.
Okay, so can we just call it the 3 Ps? You said,
sure.
What? Passion, purpose, and pocket.
Yes,
okay.
And I want to add a fourth one, and prayer.
And prayer.
Yes.
Okay, so I'm hearing that perhaps your passion can be turned into a money-making venture. I mean, is that what you're saying? And how do you do that, apart from just researching?
So definitely. It all ties to money. That's what we're all about at the end of the day. But I want to tell you that I've heard somebody say that I rather fail at something that I'm passionate about than be successful at somebody else's dream. So what it requires, once again, we mentioned research, yes. It also requires thinking about whether or not this is something I want to pursue. Now, entrepreneurship is technical in and of itself, but there are many persons. Let us think about someone local, Bridget, in Bridget Sandals. She had a dream. She wanted to make internationally acclaimed slippers, but it comes with a cost. So you have to first find out who else is doing what I am doing. And even if someone else is doing it, it doesn't mean I'm going to fail. There are many patty companies, isn't that so?
Yes.
And in their own right, they all have the clientele and they're all doing well back at slippers. There are many slippers makers out there and entrepreneurs. But really what allows you to do well is what drives you inside. Is this something I want to pursue? Many persons fail because they lack that motivation. They lack that purpose inside them that says, come what may, I'm going to stick with it. So the Bible tells us to write our dreams down and make it plain. We have to make a note as to what it will take to fulfill this purpose. Will I need to go back to school? Do I need to share my dreams with somebody else who is in the business? Will I need to get a loan? Am I able to stand on my own? Will I need to partner? For some persons, being passionate means that they are a good speaker. It means that they're a good inspirational coach. It means they're a good patty maker. Everything started from where? A dream, which propelled from your purpose, which started with a burning passion.
Right.
Yes.
So additionally, I'm thinking also competence, right? So it's knowledge, skills, and attitude.
Most definitely.
Okay, so there's something that I've always heard. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. Is this true? And I wonder about that, especially now that you're talking about passion.
I've heard it being said many times, and I share the sentiment because though I'm in training, I believe my passion is inspiring people. And I'll go and make presentations all over the place. Some paid, some not paid. But I don't get a greater satisfaction from being paid. In fact, the satisfaction that I get is seeing the lives of persons change. Many by saying what you have said has made a difference. Years down the road, I see someone who said, what you said to me allowed me to do some introspection and I'm a better person. So really, at the end of the day, your passion has to be something that you believe in the long haul you will continue doing. It's not just for the here and now, it is for eternity. As long as your life is here, you will continue doing it. Awake, sleeping, you think about it. It drives you, it motivates you. You can't stop unless you are doing it.
Okay.
That's true.
Okay, so we'll take a break right here and then we'll return to talk more about finding your passion.
Garbage collection, maintenance of public sanitary conveniences, upkeep of cemeteries, provision of water shops, road improvement, street lights, poor relief programs, community beautification. All these services are funded by you. Yes, they are, when you pay your property tax. Pay your annual property tax to make Jamaica the place of choice for all.
Welcome back to Get the Facts. We continue our discussion with the Dr. Sasha Shimhugh, Manager in the Workforce Development and Employment Division at Heart National Service Training Agency Trust. Okay, so we've been talking about finding your passion.
Yes.
But a question for you. Can you fail at your passion?
Like everything in life, there's a failure rate. Most definitely. But if it's something that you want to pursue, something that you are passionate about, you're not going to stop. Life happens. Just in everything else, you keep pressing on and you perfect your art. It's by failing that you really know what not to do and what to do. So definitely.
But some persons would say, okay, so if I failed, perhaps it was not my passion.
But I would say this. If you are having an issue with your child that you love dearly, and your child does not live up to your ideals, are you going to stop parenting? No. You've now learned something that the child should not do or you should not do in being a proper parent. Just like with parenting, there's no real quote-unquote book or guide to pursuing your passion. Yes, people will tell you what it is that they believe, but really your gut guides you. It helps you to know the path that you must not take and you must take. And of course, research is key. But ultimately, just like with the light bulb, we've heard the story many times. 1,000 or so tries and then he got it right. He was passionate about creating something that no one else had created. And that's what passion does. It propels you into your purpose.
Right. Okay. All right. So all positives, and I'm sure the audience will embrace that. But what about the challenges that you will face as it relates to translating your passion into becoming a job, etc.?
So there are some basic things. One, self-doubt.
Yeah.
We are our worst enemies. We are our worst critiques. We find every reason why it will not work. And it starts in the mind first because we tell ourselves we can't, even when we can. So many times our mind prevents us from moving forward. But if you overcome the doubt of the mind, you will also have to contend with your circle. Many times who you associate with can make or break you pursuing your passion. They may say, boy, that will not work. Or there are many other persons who have gone down this path and it has failed. What makes you so different? So really, who you associate with makes or breaks your desire to continue. And then your desire to really stick with it to the end. Halfway through it, you mentioned earlier, failing. You may have failed and then decide, I'm going to throw in the towel. I can't bother with this. Let me go back to the mundane. Let me go back to living. I mean, after all, I was living, but was I really thriving? I was surviving, but was I really living an enlightened life, a life of passion or purpose? So really, self-doubt,
our circle, and our stick-to-itiveness, whether or
Right.
not we will see it through to the end. So those are the three major things, yet basic, that cause us not to see our passion through to the end.
Okay, and what about time management?
Now, time management is critical. In a positive and a negative way. There are persons who say, oh, I have all my life to actualize my passion. But the truth is, if it's something that you really want to do, the time is now. There is no better time to pursue your happiness than now. Many of us love feeding into somebody else's dream. Sure, you heard the story about this boss that this coworker who said, boy, boss, 10 years down the line, you'll have another Lamborghini like this one. And the boss said, yes, you will help me to realize that maybe in 5. So while we are there living somebody else's passion out loud, we need to understand that the time is now to start doing your research, writing it down, seeing how is it that I can achieve what I want to achieve. Do I need to register my business? Do I need to do some business cards? Do I need to promote myself? Let persons know that, hey, I'm a great singer. Do I need to now find myself in different avenues? Do I need to put value on myself? And that is the beginning of greatness. It's the beginning of your passion being fulfilled. Also, there are persons who believe, I might be too old.
I was going to ask you about that.
One not dead, not forgotten.
Okay.
Once you are alive, you're still learning and you have an opportunity to live your life out loud.
Right.
Some of the most seasoned persons in life are mature persons, and they have the experience to now know what to do. What is the springboard I need to live my passion? So age does not limit you at all. You are the limiter of yourself, really.
Right. Okay. So you mentioned somebody else perhaps doing what you'd want to do because you're passionate about that particular thing.
Yes.
So passion really would not be the differentiating matter. What would you do then to stand out? So you're both passionate about a particular thing. What would you do to stand out in that business or that area?
Excellent question. So it's finding your angle.
Oh,
so there are a lot
okay.
of great speakers, but what it is that is needed. So that's where research comes in. There might be persons who are talking about how to be a great business manager, but then you have something else. You might be able to talk about what it requires to be an excellent publicist. You're still a presenter in your own right, but your target market is different. So that's what makes a difference, really. And then it is having that winning edge. All right. So you make clothes, and your clothes is for a pregnant woman. That's a target market. While mine may be on the fluffier side for persons who are the curvy divas. So I find out what is lacking and I move towards that. But I'm still a seamstress, am I not? I'm just great at what I'm doing in my own right.
Wow, and a positive outlook. I was going to ask you about good habits. Leave with us some good habits if it is that you're a passionate person and you want to ensure that you realize your passion.
So the first thing is that burning desire that is inside of you that wakes you up in the middle of the night. That is God knocking at the door saying to you, you have been created to do this. And the knocking won't go away, because if you have not been living your life out loud, it won't happen. One, that's one. Two, do some research. Find out how it is that you can do what you need to do in the best way possible. Think about the marketplace that you're trying to target. What is the need in the marketplace? How can I make a difference? How can I stick out? Do I need to have flyers that are color-coded so when persons see me, they remember me based on the color? And also, it's important to note you may not always make it financially initially. But if you stick with it, it will make a difference. So make sure that you keep on the line to success. Passion really is about you and nobody else. And sometimes it's a lonely road. People may not understand why you are doing the things that you're doing, but ultimately you and God know. So keep pursuing, keep the dream alive, dream it, believe it, and live your passion out loud.
You know, I actually said that was the last question, but just because you're talking and you make it sound like you're going to get the passion or fulfill it right now. What about timelines? So I want to do another sandals business. Will I get it done in 1 year, 2 years, 3 years? Do you have a timeline in mind?
It really depends on your resources. If you have the financial will, the know-how, the support, then what is preventing you from doing it now?
Yeah.
But if it is that you have to acquire other things, more knowledge, a support system, networking, if you need additional resources, then you now need to say, in 6 months, I'll do X. In a
Yeah.
year, I'll do Y.
Right.
But timelines keep you in line, and it allows you to do some assessment and evaluation to see, am I achieving what I want to achieve in the time frame that I want to achieve it?
Dr. Shimhue, beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you
Thank you for
having me.
sharing. I'm sure that we will find the passion within and we will unleash it. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. So this has been Get the Facts. Our guest was Dr. Sasha Shimhue, Manager in the Workforce Development and Employment Division at Heart National Service Training Agency Trust. Find your passion, fuel it, and make it work for you. And if you think about it, life's biggest success could very well be just on the other side of your passion. Until next time, when Get the Facts brings you more information you need to know, I'm Carrie-Ann Smith-McIntosh. Thanks for watching. Take care.
I'm sure my neighbors hear the screams and cries.
I'm sure by now they've seen the bruises through my oversized glasses. Can they tell I'm depressed when we speak?
Are they counting my frequent days off from work?
Domestic violence is any pattern of behavior used by an individual to maintain control or power over another. Domestic violence is not just physical, it can also be verbal. If you're in a relationship where you are being abused or know of anyone, get out and speak up. Report domestic violence by calling 119 or the nearest police station. Get out before someone puts you out.
Women continue to break down gender barriers all over the world. Meet Liz Levy, a successful female farmer.
I got into farming because my hobby was gardening. I was nuts about plants, flowers. So it was kind of a natural area to look for when I was looking for something to do. I started in an area that didn't have water, so I was not able to irrigate. And with climate change, it made things really, really unpredictable, very risky, and just difficult. So I don't consider myself as having really started farming until I moved into this agro park, where I was able to irrigate and do things in an optimal way.
Amity All is approximately 2,400 acres. We have 22 investors, 5 of which are female. The soil is predominantly Sydenham clay, and the crops that do well here, we have the cucurbits. That would include pumpkins, sweet potatoes, zucchini, squash. Also a few tubers do very well, sweet potatoes and cassava. Those crops do very well. We also have a lot of farmers who have gone into the Scotch bonnet pepper, and they're also doing very well. Once we manage the water application with the type of soil that we have and give proper nutrition, these crops do very well.
Life has been a learning experience primarily because of the Sydenham clay, but I don't know if that's particular to this park. I think anywhere that you go, you have to learn to work with what you have. So it's been a learning experience, and but one good thing about it is that you see the rewards at the end of the day because you're able to irrigate or fertigate, which is fertilizing through the irrigation system. So you're getting closer. I see myself inching closer and closer to the point where I'll get optimal yields, which is what every farmer wants. Everything that I produce goes to food processors. And the particular processor that I sell to, 90% of their output is exported. So I like to think that I'm a part of that whole chain that is earning foreign exchange for the country. I plant only hot peppers. I'm trying this year to try and stretch myself and learn other things. So I'm hoping on the boundaries I've created little areas where I'm going to do some experimentation. But for now, I'm only doing hot peppers and specifically Scotch bonnet. I've set myself the challenge of trying to master that because of the two types that we grow here in Jamaica. That definitely is the most demanding one. So still going up the learning curve. I think the reason why I settled on peppers is because you can sell it. You don't have to scratch your head and wonder where you're going to sell it. Because most of the processors have back orders, export orders. And in fact, we've found ourselves in a situation in Jamaica where processors have to import pepper mash. So you will never ever have a problem selling your product. If you never went to farm school, if you don't really have experience, try to get into a situation where people are readily accessible to give you that encouragement, not just advice, technical advice, but also encouragement, because sometimes you may go through a little period where you feel, wow, is this really worth it? And that support is valuable. But that's one thing. In terms of practical advice, don't go anywhere without water. Just don't go anywhere without water. That's the mistake I made. And the second thing is try to farm reasonably close to where you live. Another mistake that I made, because how often you go to your farm, the hours you put in, it shows. The further away you live, you try and cut corners here and cut corners there, and it will show.
When you come to Amital, there are a few things. There are things here that can help to foster your production. One, we have a team of stakeholders working together to cater to your needs. We have the RAD extension officers, we have the persons from NIC, we have the team from AIC. We also have a group of farmers that are willing to work together to help to move the produce not from the ground to the plate.
Motorists, when driving on the road, here are some simple reminders. Look out for and extend courtesy to all road users. Give plenty of room to pedestrians, especially in wet weather. Drive slowly. No bother wet them up. Slow down when approaching a pedestrian crossing or school, and always be prepared to stop. Remember, a school zone is a 30-kilometer zone. Cut your speed. Drivers of large and slow-moving vehicles should always keep in the far left hand of a dual carriageway. Keep it simple. Drive left and pass right. These are just simple reminders of your road duties. Drive safely.
The strength of a woman is the love which she has within. She feels deeply and loves fiercely. She's caring, nurturing, someone you oftentimes can't do without. Let us work together to protect our women and our men and children for that matter. On this Women's Day, let us all make a pledge to do something special for the women out there to make them feel appreciated as we continue on our journey of making Jamaica the place of choice to live, work, raise families, and do business.
Almighty God, creator and sustainer of life, we are humbled by your acts of kindness to us over the years. You have journeyed with us through the bitter years of slavery and have brought us the gift of our emancipation.
We thank you for those who, with determination, have led the way
we celebrate another act of your goodness.
We have matured. Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. We give you jubilant praise and thanks, oh God.
Gracious God, despite our shortcomings, we have much for which to give you thanks. You have been faithful to us in good times and in challenging times. We pause to give you thanks for all your expressions of love, O God. We celebrate and give thanks for the harmony that exists among us.
Truly, we are living witnesses of what it means to be out of many, one people.
We give you thanks for the infrastructural developments that have taken place over the years. We celebrate and give you thanks, O God, for the giftedness of our people, their kindness and creativity, their indomitable spirit that have resulted in excellence in all areas here at home and within the diaspora.
Oh God, we truly love our country, and we thank you for making us a special people admired by the world.
We thank you for all the men and women and young people and children who continue to play their part to make their mark towards our ongoing development. Almighty God, as we move forward, we place Jamaica land we love into your care. Watch over us, enlarge our territory, allow the reign of your peace and justice among us. Establish your kingdom among us and help us to realize our full potential. We ask this in your high and exalted name. Amen.
Thanks for watching another edition of Jamaica Magazine. Join us again tomorrow when we'll do this all over again. Send your feedback on today's show to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm. Also, follow us on our social media pages and download our app on your Apple and Android devices. And you can also visit our website at www.jis.gov.jm for more information. On behalf of the entire production crew, I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.
Creating change. Building a future. Caring hands. Giving back. Touching hearts and shaping lives. Impacting our world for the better.
Every parent wants healthy children and nutritious meals, and yet a lot find it hard to succeed in helping their kids to develop good eating habits from early. This week on The Good Life, we talk to health coach Rachel Christian, who uses her expertise in health coaching to help her kids make better decisions. Take a look.
I'm Rachel Christian. I'm a health coach, and basically what a health coach is somebody who guides a person along their journey towards better health, helping them to make the correct choices and develop sustainable habits which will keep them along their healthy lifestyle path. I was facing some issues myself, and I attributed them all to weight loss and not being able to sustain weight loss for any period of time. And so I started with that goal in mind. And then while I was on my journey, I realized that all of my efforts would be counterproductive goal-wise if I didn't get my other foods, my primary foods in check. When we think about health, we often think of just, food and exercise. So there are two foods that which we nourish ourselves with. There's our secondary food, which everybody knows about. It's our nutrition, what we put in our mouth. But we also have a set of primary foods, which are very critical to optimizing health, but they're often overlooked. And our primary foods are our spirituality. If you don't have a core or a center from which you are able to deal with the many things that come at you on a regular basis throughout the day, then that can create stress, which can also lead to an unhealthy life. There's your career, how you're spending your day, 8 hours of your day. If you're spending that in a toxic space or a toxic energy, then that can be debilitating. And then there's also relationships, the kind of relationships you have with yourself and the relationships you have with other people, you know. What are you telling yourself about yourself? That can also lead to unhealthy life. And so once I started to focus on those things and keep them in check, it became much easier for me to control how I exercise and also to control how I eat. I lost the weight and I became healthy. But then in that I realized health is about so much more than weight loss, you know, it's about the life that you gain. And once I was eating better foods and exercising and paying attention to my primary foods, my life just opened up in so many different ways. I was able to achieve so many more of the goals that I set for myself. My whole outlook, my whole passion, my energy, my drive, my clarity, all of those things just improved. It's something that I don't think people realize is possible, and even if they know it's possible, they don't think it's achievable, and I just want to help them realize that it's so achievable and so possible. As I was reading an article the other day about the obesity and overweight rate in Jamaica right now. The Ministry of Health just released a study which shows that obesity and overweight has doubled in about the past 7 years, which is kind of scary because that opens children up to type 2 diabetes and other non-communicable diseases at an early age. You have to remember that our secondary foods, food that we eat, is absorbed at a very cellular level when we take it in. And so it shapes our organs, our cells. It also impacts the way that the chemicals and hormones interact in our brain. And so it affects our mood, the way we act, the way we behave, the way we think. Nutrition for children is extremely important because I spoke to the fact that type 2 diabetes is real, overweight, obesity, and non-communicable diseases. But also in terms of their passion and their clarity and their drive and their goal achievement. It's very, very important. We can do small things to influence their behavior from a young age so that when they get big like me, they don't have to struggle, you know, for so long, or it don't have to be such a hard fight to get their health on track the way I struggled before to get mine on track. If they introduce small habits from a young age, then when they grow up, they'll hold on to these habits and it will become easier for them to, you know, make health a priority. You know, we are influencers of our children's behavior. We determine how they behave, we determine how they diet, how they see food. It's very unfortunate that sweet, sugary, processed snacks are the cheaper way to go. They're the cheaper alternative. But you can do little things, like you can shop instead of buying your food produce at the supermarket, you know, go to the market, go to a farmer's market and buy it. It works out to be cheaper. There are also small things you can do. You know, we say start as early as infancy with breastfeeding. Breastfeeding is very, very important. One of the things that's interesting to point out is that formulas, when you're feeding a baby out of a bottle, they don't usually stop when they're full. They stop when you finish feeding them the bottle, when the bottle is finished. And so breastfeeding gives the child a chance to stop. So they're able to control then their intake, and that's something that follows them through life as they get older. I don't give my children rice every day. I give them ground provisions most of the time. I swap out white rice for brown rice where I can. I always ensure that they have a piece of fruit with their breakfast. I don't at all let soda into my house. Soda is not allowed into my house. They have it from time to time when they're on the road, you know, rarely. but it's not allowed in my house. My children drink water, and if they're going to drink juice, then they drink freshly squeezed juice. Because when you look at these packaged juice and the soda, 20-ounce can of soda has 16 teaspoons of sugar, and that's per serving. If they get sugary drinks, I mix it, I dilute it with water to kind of cut down their sugar intake. Sweet fruits for my kids, I give them, but I give them in moderation, and I give them more of the fruits that don't have in so much sugar, like watermelon, cantaloupe. I give them a lot of berries. I give them Ethiopian apple is another favorite of mine. So not so much the grape and the pineapple. You have to be careful with the servings of those because they have a lot of sugar, and although it's good sugar, it still metabolizes our sugar. So I also introduced a thing in my house, meatless Mondays. They have Taco Tuesdays too. For 1 day out of the week, we don't cook meat. I recently moved it to 3 days now, so we have 3 meatless days. But I give them, they have chickpeas instead. They have beans, a bean salad. They didn't draw to these things. Remember that these things didn't come to them naturally, right? Especially my older two who came in to my lifestyle a little later than my youngest one. So it took coaching, I had to sit at the table with them, they had to see me eating it. But that coaching didn't last a long time. I mean, they get used to it sooner than you think. And in our head, we tend to think it's like so much work and it's going to take so much out of me. Believe me, it doesn't. So I come up with these little themes because if you make it fun for them, they'll become more involved. And they get involved. And another way too is that I get them involved in making my green juices. They help me to make my smoothies. They help bake cookies with me. When children feel like they're a part of something, they're more eager to try it after. So that really works for me. I ensure that they are not sitting down in front of the TV 24/7. So that whole sedentary lifestyle with the whole iPad and sitting down in front of the TV, no, not all day. Get up, go outside and play. Sign them up for extracurriculars. Make sure they see you working out and make sure they see you eating healthy. That's a big part of it. We don't realize children at this age are very pliable. We can mold them. It might look like, oh Lord, I'm not gonna eat this, I'm not gonna eat that. Over a period of time, you keep being consistent in giving them, sitting down with them, let them see you eating it. Eating your vegetables, eating your fruits, and they'll come into it. I mean, it's easier and it's much easier when you start them from a very young age. Like case in point, my children, I have 3 children. And so my journey started roundabout when my last child was a baby. And so he was introduced to green juice, noni tuna, aloe, smoothies at a very young age. So my children now, the bigger ones, they'll have it. But it's more like I have to really encourage it with them. With Jacob, the youngest, it's seamless. I mean, he goes for that.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Welcome back to The Good Life. We are still here with Rachel Christian, who is giving us some tips to promote healthy eating habits for kids.
There's so many dietary theories out there, and if you follow all of them, you'll really go crazy. I mean, a lot of them have pros, a lot of them have cons. I mean, I don't bother myself too much with that because then it gets overwhelming. And so I consider myself to be an everything on. So some days I'm a vegetarian and I don't eat meat. Some days I'm a vegan, I don't eat dairy products or meat. Or anything with a face. Some days I'm Atkins, where I don't eat any carbs. I just mix everything up. I try not to box myself in because then things will get overwhelming and the chances of me sticking to the journey become less. Well, this is what I say. I mean, the more work you put into something is the better it will become. It sounds like a lot initially to make all these changes, but start with one change at a time. Start with cutting out the soda in the house and the juices. Start with that. Start with keeping them on only water. Over time, it becomes seamless. It becomes seamless. Okay, so now that I've talked to you guys about how you can improve nutrition in your household with your kids, I'm gonna show you how I improve nutrition with my kids. All right, guys, so what are we making?
We're making cookies.
Woohoo! Okay, so what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to smash up the bananas for mommy?
You're gonna peel the banana.
Okay.
And you're gonna smash it.
You like banana?
Yeah.
So we're using bananas. They're nutritional, and kids like them in the treat because they're sweet. So
if there's any fruit I would actually love to eat, it's bananas.
all right, so now that those are squashed, we're just gonna throw everything else in there. So we have some flax, we have some walnuts, we have raisins, we have oatmeal, we have unsweetened coconut flakes, honey, cinnamon, and baking powder. Always try to use coconut oil instead of vegetable
Can I
oil.
pour the honey in, Mommy?
Yes.
Tell me when to stop.
Squeeze, squeeze.
Could I help him?
All right, okay, okay, whoa!
A lot of honey.
And then you're going to mix this up. So it's kind of just mixing all the stuff around there. Make sure you get all the bananas at the bottom.
Mommy, keep mixing.
Can you stop licking out my bowl? Hey! Spray our baking sheet. We kind of just get some of the mixture.
Can I try that?
Okay.
No, but we're part of this too. People on TV.
See how involved they are? Make it like a cookie. All right. Awesome, wow. We just put it in the oven for 350 degrees for about 15-20 minutes. Is it good?
Yeah.
You like it? Good. All right, so we're going to be making a parfait, and a parfait is basically fruit with yogurt layered, and this is a good snack for kids. My kids love it, and I'm gonna show you how to make it.
Especially Jacob.
Yeah, especially Jacob. He comes running into the kitchen like, can I have some parfait? Can I have some parfait? I use Greek Oikos yogurt, non-fat plain. I use fruits. I use honey to give it a little sweetening. And I also put chia seeds in there, which is full of fiber and good for digestive health.
What's digestive health?
It makes your belly turn better and makes you absorb all the nutrients in your food better.
Okay.
Okay? All right, so the first thing we do is to get a layer of yogurt in there. I usually make these the night before to give the chia seeds a chance to swell.
Mommy, can I lick off my spoon?
Yes, but you can't put it back into the yogurt.
Okay.
And so then I pour a little of these.
Are we gonna have any more spoon activities?
Yeah, wait, soon.
Okay, I'm not looking. Can't I just
Kind of mix it up in here. Put the fruits in now. You have to stir them up in there.
Thanks for the chia seeds. Okay, let's go.
And now put another layer of fruit. And then you're finished.
Oh, I love papaya so much. I love strawberries. Taking all
This is what it looks like when it's finished. It's really good.
So good.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Welcome back to The Good Life. We are still here with Rachel Christian, who is giving us some tips to promote healthy eating habits for kids. If you are just joining us, you would have missed a very fun cooking show with Rachel and the kids, but we saved some for this segment.
I remember earlier I spoke about meatless Mondays. So one of the meatless Mondays, or no, 3 days a week. So one of the meatless days in my house, one of the favorites is this lasagna. But instead of using meat, I use callaloo, and my kids love it. Right, Leo? You love it. Some kids have allergies and asthma, and dairy isn't good for asthma. And so if that's a problem that your child has, I wouldn't recommend using a lot of cheese in your lasagna. You could probably sprinkle a bit on top, just to give it, a little taste, but don't use the cheese when you're layering. So I'm gonna show you their reaction to it. I'm gonna cut a piece, put it in this plate, and then I'm gonna call Gabby to come and have some. Another Meatless Mondays dish that I do is roti and just curried chickpeas and potatoes. That's a really good one as well. It's kind of falling apart. So I'm just gonna give her a little taste of it. And how I make this is to layer it. I use callaloo, I use tomato sauce, I use tomatoes, I use cheese, and I use lasagna shells. Gabby, you shall taste this. What is this?
This is lasagna with some callaloo and tomato and vegetables.
And cheese. Blow, blow, blow. All right, wait, okay. After all this work, I'm having my lasagna. Oh, very good.
I'm Gabrielle Christian and I'm 10 years old. And I think it's important that people eat nutritiously, because if you don't eat that nutritiously, then you'll get sick. But if you eat nutritiously, you'll stay healthy and you'll live for a long time. And I'm sure everybody wants to live for a long time. I like to eat chickpeas with curry chicken or roti, and it tastes really good. To me, it tastes good, and I really like it. I help her sometimes, and I help do a lot of things with her, and that also helps her to speed up her process, and it's fun making stuff with her.
First of all, my name is Adam. Second of all, I'm 7 years old. And I think people need
to be healthy so they could learn lots of stuff in school and they could grow up just to be so smart and own a big company. I want to be either a chef or a pizza delivery man. I like cake, I like steak, I like dumpling, and I especially like grapes and apples. My favorite vegetable is tomato. I like tomato because it's very sweet. And then whenever you eat spicy stuff, it calms your mouth down, so you don't need water. Kids, eat your vegetables so you could get strong like me and work those muscles. My name is Jacob and I'm 6. I have a problem eating veggies, but I eat them because they're good for you. Because it's nutritious and it gives you a lot of energy, and I need energy to play and learn. This is to grow strong like Hulk. Eating healthy is for girls too, not just for boys. My favorite fruit is grapes because they're the fruit what tastes good actually. Bye, I need to get back to my game.
That was easy.
And that's it for The Good Life this week on Nutrition for Kids with health coach Rachel Christian. But before we go, take a look at a recap of some of the tips that Rachel gave.
You're watching Business Access TV.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
Business Access.
You are watching Business Access TV.
Business Access TV.
Serious about business.
Serious about business.
Business Access TV is here at the Courtyard by Marriott Hotel for the Empower Each Other 2nd Annual Women in Business International Conference under the theme, Get Ready to be Empowered. I'm Amita Prasad Webb. Stay with us.
Thank you again for coming out to the 2nd Annual Women in Business Conference. My name is Havana Llewellyn, and I will be your guest moderator. We have a number of great speakers that will be with us today, but we also want to focus on you and taking the opportunity to network with each other and to also interact with our speakers. You want to come away from this event feeling that you have made at least one new connection that will help you move forward in your personal or professional lives. Just to give you a little background about myself, I am the business development manager for a company called Glam Girl Boutique. I am partners with one of the organizers of this event, and we launched that brand probably a year ago, looking to bring something different to Jamaica in terms of women's retail fashion. And in a year's space of time, we have amassed a significant amount of following. We have over 100,000 women following us on social media in Jamaica alone. And we have not spread out to the rest of the Caribbean or the US as yet, so we are encouraged with what we have built so far. We are a big believer, or I am a big believer in women. That's why 2 of my business partners in this venture are women. That's why I'm a speaker at this conference, because I believe in supporting our women.
So I just want to share a few tidbits with you. Now, if you're out there doing everything and trying to attract blessings and stuff, if your house is full of clutter, no blessings won't have any space to come in. So you have to clear that clutter out. Your house represents you. So if you have a lot of clutter in your closets and in your cupboards, then your brain is going to be full of clutter. So it's really good to work on the feng shui in getting rid of clutter. I want to give you a few little tidbits in terms of feng shui points. In your south corner, now if you get a compass and whichever room you go into, in your south corner, if you put up things like a rocket, the south corner is represented by fire. So if you put up things like a rocket, a red star, or a red flower, or any kind of symbol in red, anything like your logos, your business cards, that will help your business to skyrocket, okay? I mean, I'm just like living proof. So, and then in your north area is for water, so is represented by water. So you want to put a water feature. If you live upstairs, by the way, please don't put any water features in your house, because you'll bring bad luck to your downstairs tenant. But you want to use water in the north area. So you could put like a picture of a waterfall. You could put future projects that you're working on and things like that. And this will help to just bring in fortune into your space and help your businesses to boom as well. I mean, there are other things that you can do, but that's basically. And also remember, clutter in terms of electronics. So get rid of those old text messages, old email messages, okay? And lastly, I want to say, walk your path. You know, personally for me, just even the other day, I was just like, geez, I really need to buy a car. Oh my God, when's my Audi coming? And my spirit was like, girl, how many people you know driving an Audi that has a skincare line that so many people are talking about? You have a name that is world renowned, you know what I mean? You may not be driving an Audi, but you inspire people, you know what I mean? So sometimes when the going get rough and you want things to happen immediately, just remember walking your path. I'm going to natural medicine school, and just the other day I saw somebody asking for money to go, and I'm here just really saving my money and going, so I'm really proud of myself. And some people will say to me, oh, Minka, you're following your dreams and stuff. I can't do that. And I go to their houses, one whole wall of shoes and clothes full of closet that they're not wearing. Listen, I wear the same old shoes every day. They're comfortable. You see me here, there, everywhere. I don't care. I know myself and I know what I'm about. These things don't really matter. Walk your walk and talk your talk, because 80% of the world is not living for themselves. They're not following their dreams. They're living for other people. Don't let that be you.
Your presentation this morning, what were your main points?
Well, basically, I try to cover things like subconscious blockages, doing affirmations, because, you know, speaking and talking things into being are very important. I wanted to deal with things like, you know, energy, how energy flows, and visualizing things, and basically just like believing in yourself and, loving yourself and being confident in yourself, because that, and also health is very important as well, and keeping your environment clutter-free and clean and tidy.
You're a life coach. Talk to us about life coaching. What does that entail, and why should someone, possibly entertain the idea of getting a life coach?
Well, a life coach just basically helps you to reach from one point to another. So as I said before, because I've been doing so much work on myself, I'm able to help people to identify their subconscious blocks, which is a really big one. You know, a lot of people, they read books, they watch videos, and they're still not getting breakthroughs because of these subconscious blocks. When you think about it, we've been programmed. You cannot forget your ABCs. So, I help people to really, reprogram themselves and basically give them tidbits of where they are now and how to get where they want to be. That's basically all a life coach does. Somebody who encourages you, sometimes knock you in the head and be like, snap out of it if you want to get, depressed or negative in your thinking. That's basically what a life coach does. Somebody who helps you to toe the line,
I'm the assistant GM to one of the best leaders to leaders the Jamaican and international retail industry has ever experienced. And of course, she's a female, right? She is currently the general manager of the #1 retail giant on the island. And I think it's the #1 retail giant on the island, regardless of what anybody wants to say. And that's PriceSmart. We are ranked 10th out of 39 locations internationally. So for me, when I was asked to be here, I knew I couldn't miss this for the world. And just to give you a little insight on thank you. Just to give you a little insight on, and of course, we use the term boss, and some persons might think we shouldn't, but again, it's just what we do. She has taken the Jamaican business from when it nearly closed to what it is now. We've gotten Club of the Year twice, consecutively back-to-back, 2 years in a row under our leadership. We've probably broken every single record any other club has even put up. In terms of departments, in terms of sales, in terms of, it's just, we are good at breaking records. That's one thing about the Jamaica team. And believe me, my boss, she loves breaking records. She loves breaking her own records. That's what she does. And again, it's an inspiration to us all, not just the females there, but also the men. She believes in developing persons. She believes in empowering persons. Believe me, I'm living proof. I'm living proof. She has invested so much into my career professionally and personally, to the fact where I now actually had a dream of owning a development company, where I actually did it in the last 3 years. Nothing changed for me in the last 3 years. The only thing that really changed was probably the fact where she even pushed me more to do it.
So why did you decide to become a part of Women in Business?
The main reason why I decided to become a part of Women in Business is based on the fact that I work for a retail business here in Jamaica that is led by actually a female, which I think she's done an astonishing job over the years that she's been here in terms of teaching, developing, growing a business, making it successful. We're actually ranked 10th out of 39 locations internationally. So I felt the need to share that, as well as commend females who are actually in business, in leadership, and just tell them, you know, there's one guy here that's loving it. In some cases, persons might think men don't like the fact that women are so empowered. I think in earlier years, it was unheard of to the fact that women could be running big companies or even being in leadership.
Talk to us about what is taking place here today.
Well, we're looking to bring in women from all walks of life to really to inspire and energize the everyday woman who looks to do more than just get up and go to work. They want to leave their mark on the world. They want to impact their community, their family, their friends. And so we're trying to provide some resources that will assist in that.
Dodgen Global offers a CPA scholarship program to team members who join our team. A career in accountancy at Dodgen Global is a great choice and can offer you excellent job prospects. We believe that an accounting education is the greatest gift you can give yourself or anyone else. Few gifts make as significant an impact as the gift of an accountancy education with a job. It's a contribution that lasts a lifetime in the form of learning, opportunity, and success. Join our team and get the opportunity to be part of our CPA scholarship program. This scholarships awards program will be administered by the HR department of Dodgen Global. Requirements: first degree in accounting, employed at Dodgen Global, willing to pursue the CPA examination. Here's how to apply. Submit application to Staff Accountant, Dodgen Global. Email sa@dodgen.com.
When we were growing up, there was always this view, I thought. It's not like anybody told me or it was said in any way that, I don't know. It's like you almost felt like you had time to do all of the things, like life is to come. Like life was to come. Oh my God, I just realized life is now, like now. What I realized in the how that I have there is talking about how to take the lead in your life. The first thing is really to believe. Sounds simple, but it's the most critical thing. It is the most critical. So there was a time about 4 months or so ago, up to then, I told myself that I'm not a reader. I don't read. I can't focus on anything long enough to read. And because I have this creative mind, I can't just do one thing. I have to read 10 books one time. That's a story I told myself for fear of actually sitting down and committing to something and doing it. So I had to come up with a good excuse. I don't read. I'm not a reader. It's like I'm not a runner. But I want to be one. I see myself running. Looks good. So believe. What I've recognized in some books that I've read over the last 4 months, I'm not a reader, but I've read 4. I'm on my 5th book in 3 months, but I'm not a reader. So one of the books that I read, Think and Grow Rich. I'm still on it now. Havana was like, yeah, that should follow the one that you were reading before, The Science of Getting Rich, recommended by Carla. I'm reading a lot about rich. You know why? Real rich, right? You know why? Because we're supposed to want to be rich. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. There's something wrong if you don't want to be. Because being rich allows you to do all the things that you want to do. Buy my Tory Birch and my map book, but some other bigger things. It also allows you to serve humankind better. Look at what is going on in Haiti or Cuba or the Bahamas. When you have money, like you're saying, you can donate $10 million. So why you don't want to be rich? I finally want to be rich, you know. My sister always says, listen, the only thing I'm interested in is being rich. And I thought, oh my God, my sister, I just want to be comfortable. What a load of, I just want to be comfortable. You're saying that because you want empathy. You want somebody to say, oh, that's so nice. No, foolishness. I want to be rich. I've decided, and I know the house that I want already. I went into the neighborhood, and I look at it. It's nice, bad. I want it. It has a fabulous view. I can see myself in there now. Woo! What a high. So firstly, you have to believe, one, that you deserve it. One, that also that you are, I mean, I say deserve. This is a thing that I've been hearing constantly over the last few months from Carla. You are enough. You are enough, and you deserve it, and you are entitled to it, and you must therefore accept it when it comes to you. Because we've grown up with these things in our head, you know, that you must and shy away. No, be bold. Bold, that's why I wear the red dress today. Be bold. But believe, but you must really, really believe. Like, really, truly believe. Don't just say it. And I think that's the hard part, because we've been saying it, and we think that saying it means that we believe. We really need to believe. And we need to visualize it. I think men have a way of being very direct, and unless they say what needs to be said faster, they get there faster. Women tend to, for the most part, we have a tendency to talk a lot, explain a lot, want to make sure everybody's okay before we make a decision. And while it is important to empathize with people and to get their views on things, sometimes we are not swift enough, and we are afraid of being swift. We believe that we're going to be seen as too hard or taking sides or being hard on people or that sort of thing. And so that causes us to explain more and try to be the nice person. And men just get the job done, and they're not concerned whether you like them or not. But I think there's a need for a balance, if anything, not to say one is right or the other. The proliferation of all these conferences or discussions about women or for women, it's so important, and I can see already the impact that it is making. for most persons, because we've become a little bit more aware and in tune with the fact that we need to talk, because we need to hear and see that others have been through and they're no different than us. They've been through the same things, have the same struggles and concerns and fears, and that empowers us, knowing that there is someone who has been through that and has survived. And as a matter of fact, I hope that we have more of these even for men, because men need it too. At the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we need this to help us to get through.
M&A Strategy and Advisory. Are you planning for a merger or acquisition? M&A transaction. The decision to embark upon an M&A transaction is not one to be taken lightly. Whether pursuing a merger or acquisition, or considering a disposal or divestiture, the complexities of an M&A transaction require careful planning and execution. Clients can depend on our specialist teams to lead or support transactions requiring specific expertise on issues including business modeling, fast-track M&A, economic consulting, and government public sector advice. With deep experience, knowledge, and tools, Dodge & Global can meet stakeholder targets and expectations. Dodge & Global consulting teams can help you make smarter, more effective decisions. Let's have a conversation. Contact us at email info@dodgen.global. Website https://dodgen.global.
The Good Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit.
Well, before I came here today, I actually just got healed from shame. I didn't realize I was suffering from shame. Yeah, I know, right? She's like, shame? What that mean, right? I didn't realize I was suffering from shame. I didn't realize it, right? And there's lots of us in the room, including me, we're suffering from a lot of things that we don't realize. So today, I thought to myself, all right, I want to share on shame because it really moved me, right? It really moved me. And I wanted to share on living shamelessly, right? And then, I also wanted to talk about living fearlessly, because a lot of us, no matter how successful we are, there's some crippling level of fear that limits us from doing more. And maybe it's coming from the fact that, you saw someone else try and not accomplish it, or maybe you tried something before and you feel like you failed, and so you have a learned disability when really and truly you are just full of abilities, right? So I want to talk about being shameless, right? Just shameless. I want to talk about that today. I want to focus a little bit on that. So when we think about shame, what do we think about? You can just shout it out. We're comfortable here. It's a small, intimate group. What do you think about? Guilt, failure. I hear guilt, failure. What else do you think about? Guilt and shame work together, right? Guilt is a sense of, I know I did something wrong based on my belief system, because we all have different belief system, right? A set of rules that we have identified as truths, and that we use to then build, things that keeps us into perspective, whether or not we're going ahead or going behind or staying in one place, right? So guilt, for instance, if I feel like as a mom, I should give my children at least one warm meal a day, and I am not able to do that because of my job, time, I have guilt. And then when I go to school and I hear another mom talking, or my child comes home and goes, oh, wow, Mom, I was talking to Taylor at school, and Taylor tells me that her mom makes them breakfast in the morning, and when they go home in the evening, they have dinner. My guilt may become shame. And so instead of feeling empowered as a mom to do more, I start to feel like a failure. And because I start to feel like a failure, I may even develop some level of helplessness. Now, you guys are like, well, what does this have to do with me? I'm going to go deeper, right? And I'm going to use my examples because I'm fearless. I don't care about none of y'all in terms of nobody here can hurt me, right? None of you are God, and none of you can hurt me. This is something that I just came into, I've said it before, but this is something I just came into ownership of. Because you see, even though my story is known, it's been published that at the age of 16, I gave birth to a child, I lived in shame. I mean, crippling shame. Do you know what it's like to walk down the road and people go, Ashidat? Well, I don't know what Ashidat mean. Ashidat, or I don't know what it means. And some of it may be my internal limitations that's telling me a story that's not true. But then again, we're in a society that dictates that a woman is a certain way, and if she's not, Ashidat. And we do it to each other. Because we've been put in shame for something, we shame other women. And that's why we don't do as well in the workplace. You think we're dominating yet? We're not. We're really not. A lot of women lose their jobs or left their jobs because of us. Shaming them because someone shamed us, and we are not healed from shame. And so it becomes a poison that needs to beget itself into somebody else. Does that make sense? So here we are. Maybe some of us in this room have been molested, and we didn't deal with that shame. And so we walk around on eggshells thinking, does everybody know? I mean, a lot of persons have gone to church and stopped going to church, not because they changed the way they feel about God, but because something happened and they think people in the church know about it. And so they no longer want to go to that church or maybe the workplace, right? Maybe you had an affair with somebody at the workplace and it didn't work out so well. And now you feel like everybody knows. See, we have to learn to forgive ourselves because shame is worse than fear. It's almost like an oversized, overgrown version of fear that it goes beyond what everybody else thinks about you. It's now on what you think about yourself. Because long after you've moved on from the relationship, from the environment, from the situation, it is still inside of you. It dictates everything that you pull towards you, including your new relationships, your new assignments, your new environments, because it's all energy. And energy, it's going to attract itself, right? Are there any things such as shame? Anything that there is about you that you feel like, oh my God, if anybody know? Does that affect you when you walk in a room? Does that affect you when you go into, maybe in our society we have a way of saying if you haven't been to certain schools, if you're not from a certain society, if you don't drive a particular car. Well, my friend back there, she used to drive her car, and then she decided, I want a different car, and then she went and she bought it, right? She didn't feel shame. Actually, she made more money than most people who drive bigger cars, right? But she didn't feel shamed about it. Her thing is, I'd rather spend my money on my coaching certification, and she spent more money on her certification than most people spend on their house, right? And now she's a fabulous coach. I salute you. Okay? Right? So we're both coaches, right? So I was there in the process watching her, and I was empowered by this woman that removed all the limits. Have a job that pays her multiple millions of dollars, but she said she wanted a promotion. She wanted a pay raise. So she created an opportunity that was flexible, that gave her more money, more time to feel more fulfilled, helping other women doing what they want to do when they want to do it. You guys can totally do that. There's nobody in here more special than anybody else. Not your hair texture, not your hair color, not your clothes. Definitely not your clothes. If you don't have what you want, go to Ping's or Pablo's and buy the fabric and design it and make it yourself. There is nothing that can limit you, I'm telling you. And the minute you see who you are and accept your value, that's the law of recognition. The minute you recognize who you are, the power that you are, and what you have inside of you is so valuable to everyone around you, people will begin to give the value to you.
I would say the biggest challenge facing female leaders today is that many women, after winning once or more than once, they genuinely don't believe that they have what it takes to win. Like, they begin to have a limiting belief in themselves. And so they begin to attract things that they most fear. There's not enough women out there also that are being transparent and sharing some of the challenges they have after the first level of success, because there are various levels to success. So after the first several experiences of success, some women start to have crippling fear, you know, whether it's in their relationship or in other aspects of their life, and then that reflects in their leadership. So I believe having more transparency and conversation among leaders and having more events such as these to discuss what it is that's really affecting women who have experienced success, that they're not really having fulfillment.
Hi, my name is Sarika Sterling. I'm here at We Empower. I'm happy to be here. I always like to come to these events because as a young entrepreneur, I find it as a place to refuel. It's always good to be in the company of other, aspiring women, and also women who have achieved much and have charted the path that I'm trying to take. So I use it as, refueling, building up myself, because every now and again you get into a position where you're working so hard and you feel like you're in a slump. So we use it to build myself up by looking and, aspiring to be and to grow and to be like other people.
Why do you think empowerment conferences are important for women, regardless of age group or regardless of job types? How can these type of conferences help us?
Okay, empowering women conference are very valuable because you get to meet other women. It helps to motivate each other as women. Myself, I have a Stylish Moves program where I also empower women. And my main thing is for female empowerment, because women tend to be, very shy sometimes. And I think when other women encourage them, give them compliments, stuff like that, it makes us stronger. And I just think we're all queens and bosses, and women are the real powerful species on this earth, because, we bear the kids for the 9 months. We have the, monthly cycle, all of those stuff. So we're really strong. We can endure pressure and all of that. So women coming together is just amazing because it strengthens each other and lets us build more as, women in this industry.
And that's it from us here at the Women in Business International Conference. Until next time, I'm Amita Prasad Webb. Thanks for watching Business Access TV, serious about business. Life, your weekly dose of information on nutrition, wellness, and fitness. Discover ways to nurture your mind, body, and spirit. Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
Coming up in this episode of Wealth Magazine Business Access, Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Group, shares with us about how her formative years were balanced with play, moral building activities, and learning the principles of business from her parents. Street Forrest also recounts her professional pursuits, citing her work in many different industries over the years, among them her short-lived stint at farming and her passion for building the Jamaican economy by advancing the work of the JSE.
The stock exchange is a way to grow wealth individually and for the country at large. The stock market is not for rich people. It is a market for all of us. This is another form of investing, and everyone can look at investing in the stock market. name is Marlene Street Forrest, Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange Group. I'm the Managing Director of the Jamaica Stock Exchange, and originally I am from Portland. I attended the Titchfield High School. I'm passionate about my high school. I was brought up in business, and I'm so passionate about my country, so that I want to see businesses expand and grow, and for our country to do better. As I said before, I'm from Portland, and my parents were business people. And so as a child growing up from a babe, we were in the business. We had to work very hard within the business, emulating our parents who actually worked very hard. And so from an early age, I can remember us writing receipts, fitting up a kerosene stove, actually making those covers for mattresses, stuffing them. And so we learned to be industrious. And we recognize also that with everything that we got, the reward that we got was based on the work that we put in. We recognize that our parents loved us, but as a family, but that we had to also be involved in whatever they did. So from a young child, we worked. We did not consider it child labor, because we recognize that it was instilling that sort of discipline in us that was necessary and has served me well in my adult life. I was the youngest of 3 girls in the household, and we had fun playing. We played all sorts of games, snake and ladder, etc., and played with my parents. We rode bicycles to school and back, up the hill, down the hill. And my mother was very attentive. So in the evenings or before bedtime, she would read books for us. My father, attentive, but my mother was more so. My childhood was not always very happy in some respect, because my father was an albino, and sometimes persons were never always kind to that situation. You were always ridiculed about color, and so you had to live with that as a child. It is something that, in terms of the society, need to get a grip of, in terms of how you deal with people with differences and how you embrace people with differences. The moral compass was very important for my parents. We were taken to church, and when we became older, we were sent to church. So it was quite fun from that standpoint growing up. It was not probably as funny as for other children, because as I indicated to you before, we worked. So some of the times when other children, you saw them out playing, we were in the business place, and my parents had haberdashery, hardware, and so we were there working. My father had skickle tables and jukeboxes that were all over Port Antonio, and we had to go and clear them. We listened to the record. The good thing about it is that you knew almost every song that came out within that era, because you punched them and you played them. So there was a mixture. There were days that when you did not get the pocket money because business was not good. So again, that taught you that it's not all the while that you're going to have. And there were times when business overall was not good, and those were lean years, and you had to live with that. But it gave you the sense of balance that most children need to have nowadays. I started prep school at 2.5. So I was at school very early and went on to the primary level where everyone did the common entrance and was successful in common entrance and went to Titchfield High School. And that is the premier high school in Portland, in Port Antonio. The interesting thing is that most persons, if they go to high school and they go to sixth form, it is 7 years. But I spent 6 years in high school as I did my A-levels in 1 year. When you are in business, like my family, I had 2 older sisters growing up and they were both in college. And sometimes business is good, sometimes it's not. And at that point, I made a decision at sixth form that I had to do my A-levels in 1 year, and then went on, was successful in the A-levels, and went on to teach. Obviously, that's a pre-trained teacher. I taught at a high school. For the next year, I taught at Port Maria High, and taught many subjects. And I am happy to say, very proud too, that the children were also successful, those that were in fifth form in their subjects. Then I went on to the University of the West Indies to do a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies. University life was interesting, though I did not live on, because by this time I was married. I got married very early. The course of study was good. I actually got an honors degree, graduated with an honors degree from the University of the West Indies. Met many friends there. Some of them are still friends today. My mandate at the JSU really is to use cutting-edge technology to develop the market. One of the things that we looked at was the creation of the junior market. Well, we all know that that has been extremely successful. We have seen an increase in persons investing in the market from about 2%, and now we are about 7% or so, which is good.
I'm 36. I'm a husband, a manager, and still very good looking. In 2 hours, I have the most important meeting of my life. But first, it's time to play. The new Suzuki Vitara.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
When I left university, though it was a time when it was difficult to get jobs, because that was in the 80s, and that's early 80s, and there was always the upheaval in the economy. I, through, again, one of my friends on campus, I was able to get a job at the income tax department. She was working there at that time. And I went as a tax auditor. I audited companies, and it was a very, very good experience. You were told what to do, you explained, while persons say a lot of negative about government. I did not experience that at Income Tax Department then. I experienced professional persons working, understanding what to do, treating the entire work that they had as a very, very serious. I left there and I went on to Jamaica Public Service. So I've been around. I went to Jamaica Public Service as internal auditor, and there the experience was also good. The persons that you worked with, you interacted with, were always very much concerned about your growth. And after that, I went to Caribbean Cement Company. And if there is a defining moment in terms of my work world, was Caribbean Cement Company. And under the watchful eye of the managing director then, called Mr. Compton Rodney, and he mentored me. And so I've had very positive experience with men. He mentored me, he showed me how, just how to behave in a professional manner, and took interest in your career and your growth. That's a mentor. He was a very, very good mentor. And, you know, I have not yet seen another like him in terms of how he mentored not only me, but others. We were always given books, additional books to read, to ensure that we kept abreast with current happenings. And so the experience there as a cost accountant was very good. I left Cement Company and I went on to Xerox. So I've been around. And I went there as their chief accountant. I've experienced. So there is the sort of span of the career. I went abroad for some time, came back to Jamaica, and I worked with JBC as their chief accountant, and spent some time there. Again, the focus was always what can you bring to the table that is positive. And their financials were, in terms of audit, were behind. And the one drive that I had was in ensuring that it was up to date. And by the time I left there, their financial statements were up to date. I think I left with that division being positive and went on to the Jamaica Observer. I was asked at the point when I was leaving, going to a company that was a startup, even if it had big monies behind it. As you know, it was owned by Butch Stewart and others. Why would you take that risk? But if you believe that you can make a difference, you'll take the risk. And I went to the Observer as a financial controller and left there as the assistant general manager. After leaving the Observer, I went on to work with the government again, Southeast Regional Health Authority. And I also went into farming. I went into farming because I felt that I had a passion for growing things, and I wanted to see how I could make a difference in this area. I did my analysis, and it was deficient because I did not factor in predial larceny. And so all the financials came out positive, and it would have been a positive experience, except that thieves got the better of my farm. And until the government does something serious about that, I think that agriculture can be an area for serious growth in the country, and not only growth from the standpoint of financial growth, but also internal. When you are interacting with that soil, it gives you a different, warmer feelings to even your fellow men. So it is important that we look back at how we treat with agriculture. But I left because it would not pay the bills, naturally. And as I said, I went to Southeast Regional Authority and then on to the Jamaica Stock Exchange, where I went as the Deputy General Manager with the focus on finance. My mandate at the JSC really is to use cutting-edge technology to develop the market, because the Jamaica Stock Exchange, what it does is operates different markets, and the idea is to ensure that in the operation of the trading of stocks over a market, or the encouragement of persons to come and do what is called initial public offering or list on the exchange, the mandate is to ensure that you have a transparent and efficient market. So one is about the technology, but the other is about people. So that continues to be my mandate. And so we have put in during my tenure, a little before I came, and during that period, the electronic trading platform, and that has worked well. We have had the Jamaica Central Securities Depository that does the settlement of those transactions. And at one point during my tenure at the Stock Exchange, I was also the General Manager for the Jamaica Central Securities Depository. The idea, though, is how do you use that powerful medium to grow the economy, to make life easier for investors and also for businesses that want to access capital. And we had the main market, as you know, and one of the things that we looked at was the creation of the junior market. Well, we all know that that has been extremely successful, and that persons have bought onto the idea, both from the level of the persons, the issuers, the persons who come to market to raise funds, and the investors. So many persons now have started to invest in equity, just as other countries around the world, especially developed countries, and I'm happy about that. So we have seen an increase in persons investing in the market from about 2%, and now we are about 7% or so, which is good. When you go into an organization, get to know who you are working with, get to understand them, and so also that they can understand you, because people will make the difference.
Hello, my name is Blake Widmer. I'm the co-founder of Deaf Can Coffee. And the exposure that we had to the just general community through Business Access TV itself is awesome. It was a big deal for them, you know, having BATV come here, and we spent, we were with you guys for probably 4 hours that day. It was a long time. We really appreciate your guys' openness to recognize that, yeah, captions are important. If a deaf person's watching it, how are they gonna understand what's being said? So looking back is just a big boost, encouragement for our team. If you're a business or an organization that wants to have yourselves featured on BATV, or you want to do advertising with BATV, what I would tell them is that you guys listen well and you ask good questions, and that will help, at the end of the day, deliver a really good product for your business too.
Your business matters. Promote it on Business Access TV.
This is Caroline Smith, marketing implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
The stock exchange is a way to grow wealth individually and for the country at large. So the other thing that we looked at is how do you ensure that 10 years from now you do not have the same problem that we had, in that older persons are just understanding about the market. So I'm happy and I'm proud about the stock market game that is within probably over 50 schools, high schools in Jamaica, because what that does is create that knowledge that you are not starting from base one anymore. But those students will now come out and understand that the stock market is not for rich people. That's something that I'm really just passionate about, that people know that this is not a market for rich people. It is a market for all of us. This is another form of investing, and everyone can look at investing in the stock market. So we looked at the stock market game, and in order to ensure that the perception was positive during my tenure, we board the decision, but during that time we did what is called move the company from a mutual company to a demutualized company, meaning it's not mutual again. The ownership of the exchange and the decision making, the regulatory, those are separated. So persons know that this company is transparent, and the decisions that are made are not made from a personal basis, but the regulation is within the ambit of the rules. I received a few years ago the Order of Distinction, Commander Class, and that's for development of the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And from the World Recognition, an Afro Global Award from out of Canada. And from the Rotary Club of Kingston East and Port Royal, the award in respect to my involvement in business. And quite recently to the Jamaica Observer Leadership, I was selected as one of the contenders. These awards mean a lot to me because it is persons saying that they think you are doing a good job. And from the standpoint that you do not necessarily want to be publicly recognized, that's for me really, but it encourages me. What it also does too is spur you on to see what more can I do. Though within yourself you want to do and you are driven from your own internal being, it still gives you that push to do more, especially when some of the times when you are doing it's not always easy because you get pushed back. You would have known about some of the struggles we had with the junior market and some of the products that you're trying to develop. It still allows you to go on to something else because not everything that you think will be a positive for your company, for Jamaica, not everybody will buy into it, and they might see things from another perspective. And it says to you, look, while this has not gone the way, go on, move on, continue. The highlight of my career, I would really say it's the junior market. I think it has opened up so much possibility for persons. And when you look and you see how many of these businesses are doing, and you feel that, in some small way, I had a hand in it. And when persons come up to you and they said, I invested and I'm doing so well, it makes you feel good. Again, also, I think the stock market game. And when you see the younger persons are now able to feel very comfortable about this subject, it makes you feel satisfied. So as it relates to building Brand Jamaica, I think my contribution is just the improvement at the Stock Exchange Group, providing the services that are necessary to build the economy and to ensure that persons recognize that there are options to accessing capital, and one of them is accessing equity capital. When I started to work, I remember my husband saying to me then that I must know the people I work with more than the work itself, and that the knowledge of the work will come. But if you don't know the people, then you might not succeed. And that's very, very important. When you go into an organization, get to know who you are working with, get to understand them, and so also that they can understand you. Because people will make the difference. People either make the difference of not supporting you with your dreams, just the work itself, or not. And if you understand people, you also understand how to navigate difficult situations that will come about because you work with people. And it is the people why you succeed. You did not succeed by yourself. You did not. And, people would need to get over thinking that they did. You succeed because people assisted you. People worked with you. People bought into the vision that you are trying to sell, because it's a selling game as well. And if you understand people, sometimes you'll know when they're not feeling well, they are tired, what they want out of the situation as well. And I think as a result, that's the best piece of advice I have received, and I've used it throughout my career. I am twice married. My first husband died, and I'm married again. But I've always had a supportive family structure. I have 2 daughters, and they have been very supportive. And I now have a grandson, and even he is supportive of my activities. So I have been lucky. I've been lucky. My extended family, my sisters, they have also been supportive. And my mother, who is still alive, she's supportive as well. You get from them, they are the litmus tests, really, because you get the truth. There's no holds barred. They tell you just what they think. We operate from a standpoint of respect, and they share their ideas too sometimes with me. What do you think about this? Probably that could work, and you feed from them. My family is really my all. Let me tell you what wealth means to me. I think the creation of wealth is important because there are various phases in one's life, and you want to ensure that you have created an environment, a wealthy or sufficient environment that in your twilight years you can afford to live comfortably. So that is wealth from a personal basis. I think it is important that from a country we create wealth for the future generation. You don't leave them with debt. And it is important at all times for individuals, families, to create wealth intergenerational so it can be passed down, so that the struggles of one society or one generation is not the struggle of another generation. And where you have that, the creativity, you can create more. You can feed your country. So wealth is definitely important, which is, I suspect, why my focus and our focus at the stock exchange is that of wealth creation.
matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
The Caribbean Community of Retired Persons, CCRP, is a non-profit membership organization for persons 50 and over, retired, or preparing for retirement. The organization was founded by Jean Laurie Chin, founder and managing director at Procom.
I wanted to do something significant, especially for those people who helped me to build my business. And when I thought about those persons, they were all seniors. It was my mother who, when I told her I wanted to start a business, she said, well, all I have in my account is $3,200 and the furniture your father died and left last year, but you can have it. And that is how the business was started. And then all the folks that had been my mentors in the previous years, Wycliffe Bennett for Carrie Fester, Merrick Needham, Sister Bernadette, who was my principal at Alpha, was a mentor and still in touch with me at that time before she passed away a few years ago. And I said, but these are all seniors who a lot of people do not even listen to, do not even realize how much wisdom they have. And I said, you know what? I'm going to start an organization to honor seniors, to empower them, and to reinforce respect for seniors. And that was the start of CCRP. I got together some wonderful friends. They were like the foundation members of CCRP. And that was Alun Asamba and Hermin Metcalf and Sharon Dehaney Walker, wife of Danville Walker. And those three ladies really helped me to develop the program. And then we contacted Professor Denise Eldemire Shearer, who is one of the most knowledgeable people, if not the most knowledgeable person in the Caribbean, definitely, about aging. And she is actually the head of the Mona Wellness Center. And she was so happy to chair our board. What this has done, it has shown you the generosity of our elders and what they really have to offer. And I really think if Jamaica would just listen more, pay attention more. Many of us were raised by grandmothers, right? So, I mean, we know the wisdom that these people have. And do you know, 2 years after we were formed, it was Jamaica 50. And we decided, that was 2012, we decided that we would have a Legacy Awards. That was our first Legacy Awards. And we had a big event. 62 persons were honored for our Living Legacy Awards. And in that room, we asked our members to nominate people. And one of the people they nominated, I'd never heard of before. Her name was Mama Joy Baker. Mama Joy lived, and still lived at that time, on Hanover Street. And Mama Joy had been taking care of children for over 30 years. She had opened 356 bank accounts for them to learn how to save. She had literally fought off thugs who were trying to harass the little girl children on Hanover Street. She had scrubbed the floors of bars to send them to school. And when we discovered Mama Joy and we honored her that day, and she had on a beautiful red dress and a beautiful hat. When we honored Mama Joy, it was after that the government gave her a national honor. CCRP can offer seniors, people 50 and over, a major medical health insurance package for 12,500 Jamaican per annum, and it qualifies them for up to $5 million of major medical, which means surgery, MRI, anesthetist, dialysis, chemotherapy, radiation, up to $5 million. And let me tell you, we started it year before last. Actually, it's year before last, because the claims have now been coming in, and people have come and told us that we have saved them from poverty. Because if they had had to find those monies, it would have been so difficult. And I'm very grateful to Sagicor, because the claims that they've been paying out actually exceeds the premiums they've been receiving. So it is now, at this point, highly subsidized, and I want to really encourage Jamaicans to join CCRP and to sign up for this insurance, which is so affordable. But if we don't get enough people on board, the premiums may go up. So, and the people who I am encouraging in particular are young professionals, because they are responsible for their elders. And when your parents or your grandparents get sick, and you are not able to find it, or you are going to have to go and find it from somewhere and put yourself in debt, it's just not worth it if you have this opportunity. So I want to encourage young professionals to sign up their parents. The membership fee for CCRP at this point is 1,000 Jamaican dollars per annum. We have outings. Last year we had what was called a Silver Club Vintage Party over at Devon House. And even one of our seniors in a wheelchair, you should have seen that guy rocking when that scare started, you know, because it just brings back so many lovely memories. So I want our seniors to have a great time. We went to Milk River Spa. Oh my gosh. We had a little mentor band. And when those ladies started to dance, you know, and guess what? Dancing is one of the healthiest things you can do for your body. So, and we had Tai Chi, we want to bring back Tai Chi again, because of course Tai Chi is very good for your bones. So between our Sagicor health plan, our discount partners, and of course our wonderful team at Procom, I cannot praise them enough, because you know, CCRP is operated out of Procom. These are people who have served this country so well and so wholeheartedly. And I think we now need to turn around and ensure that they are happy, that they are comfortable, that they are respected. We do not deny ourselves the privilege of sharing their experiences and their wisdom. It's a privilege. It's a privilege to just sit down and have a conversation. It helps us to understand the context of this country.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
The purpose is to help empower older people to accept, understand the aging process, and more importantly, to live life to the fullest.
In this 1 degree, you're able to do many things.
I think the field found me.
I'd rather work with the deceased than work with the living.
Let us open your mind to careers you've never considered.
Miniature model maker.
Game technician.
Animator.
Good job. Empowerment.
Career moves.
Anywhere money is, that's where I am.
This is Caroline Smith, marketing implementer for Sol Western Caribbean for Shell Lubricants, and you're watching Business Access TV, and they are serious about business.
Professor Denise Eldemar Shero, Chair of the CCRP and Director of the Mona Aging and Wellness Center, is the leading authority on aging and an unwavering advocate for the elderly.
My role as the chair is to support Mrs. Laurie Chin and to make connections and to help with the other board members to execute the ideas that come to us as to what the organization can do. And these ideas often come to us from our members. So it's about finding ways with the team at CCRP to execute what people want. The purpose is to help empower older people to accept, understand the old aging process, and more importantly, to live life to the fullest, no matter what restrictions they may have, whatever functional inabilities. It's about ensuring that people believe that they can live. You may need a walker, you may need a walking stick, you may have a hearing impairment, but you can still live life. And you're going to live 20, 25 years after retirement. And therefore, you can't rest and relax for that. You'll get very bored. And it's about helping older people come out of their houses. There's absolutely no activities targeting older people in Jamaica. And we, as an organization, saw it as a main objective to help meet that gap. On the other side, older people have increased health needs, particularly health needs. And we have also seen it as our responsibility to, one, advocate where necessary, accessibility, availability, and also to provide services through the health insurance with Sagicor. CCRP targets active older people. 90% of the Jamaican population over 60 is physically well and mentally well. So we have a lot of older people ranging from 60 to 100 who can be very active participants in everyday life. And our mission is particularly to promote activity among older people, to help older people believe in themselves, and to give them ideas as to what they can do. So we do have activities like the Games Night. We've had tours. We've been down to Milk River. It's about doing activities like that. One of the things that CCRP has been doing is trying to identify specific areas of need so as to approach areas rather than only be reactive, such as when the bus price was increased, CCRP responded to that about reducing back the elderly one. But we don't want to see ourselves as only responding to a problem or an issue. It's about identifying. So the Mona Aging and Wellness Center, of which I am a part of, did a survey way back in 2012, which we have been talking about it. So CCRP has been going through the findings of that survey, highlighting issues. That's why I was able to tell you about people are healthy or not healthy. People have a lot of chronic disease, but they're functional. We know 72% of them have a chronic disease. How do we ensure that they don't get worse? So we do a lot of seminars, health-related seminars, the retirement sort of seminars. What is retirement about? Many people can be depressed by retirement, but you have to retire. So how can we in CCRP help you? One, adjust to retirement. Two, find things to do. What are some of the hobbies you can develop? What are some of the new activities? The learning to use the computer. So CCRP is proactive, doesn't wait for the problem. The majority of families in this country do recognize their older people, and they actually love them. The grandmother, the grandfather in many of our families is still a revered person. He or she is also a very needed person. Our younger people need to go to work. And if you go by any school at 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, you will see who is picking up the children. Yes, there are families that don't. And we also have a fair number of families now where the young people and of course a young person here could be 50 if you're 70, are not living here. So there are the groups of older people who don't have families here and are dependent on neighbors, and you will hear about those problems. Do we do enough at community and state level? No. That, I think, is where we have a lot more to do. I think we still need to teach more respect to our younger people about all older people, because they will have grandma or grandpa at home, but you will see them rushing past them on the street. I think we need to do more in the area of pension. I think we need to recognize what has been done in healthcare. I think, well, free healthcare gets a rap, but I can tell you from the 2012 survey, the older people have embraced it. And they will tell you that they don't have anything to do, so they can wait 3 hours. As one person said to me, all I have to have is a lunch money. There is JADEP, there is NHF. So I think as a young country in terms of independence, we need to acknowledge state government efforts in the area of health. We need much, much more in education. I'd like to see us go to third age education where we have special programs for older people, and the private sector has done very little. There are 300,000 older people in this country. When are people going to recognize they're a resource? When are we going to accept their contribution to development? They all pay light bill, water bill, a lot of other things, and they are major contributors to this economy. I don't think that gets enough recognition.
Coming up on Caring Hands.
We just enjoy our company together. We feel that we are living still.
I started out selling out of the trunk of my car.
If everybody think the same way, everybody going in the same line.
Being an entrepreneur takes everything that you've got. Weekends? What's weekends? We work on a weekend.
There are real opportunities everywhere you look.
But you have to have the passion.
If I do my part well, then everything is okay.
We believed in ourselves and our families believed in us.
Being convinced of this great opportunity, why we are all here doing what we're doing now.
Merrill Hanson, a former president of the Nurses Association of Jamaica, now plays an active role in the organization.
I have been working with seniors for about 40 years, nearly 40 years. Because I started going to meetings at CVSS. Then I was elected to the board of National Council for Senior Citizens in 1981. And I have been on that advisory board. The board is an advisory board to the Minister of Labor and Social Security. And I have been on that board ever since I went out in 1981 when we had to resign. So I have enjoyed working with seniors. I was very elated when Mrs. Lorchin started the CCRP, because within the National Council for Senior Citizens, we're always saying, although it is the National Council for Seniors, we did not find seniors at all levels of the society joining with us. I keep saying the only time that we got, call it the upper level citizens, thinking of coming to the National Council is when we started doing the JADEP program, and then people joined up. But I've always said to the other members on the National Council, if we could only have a group that functions like the AARP in America, you know? So I was very pleased when Mrs. Lorchin started the CCRP. And so although I had other things doing with seniors, I thought I would join, and I encouraged my retired nurses, because then I was chairman of Retired Nurses Group of Nurses Association of Jamaica, and a number of us are members of this organization. And I am very pleased at how it has been going over the years. And the CCRP is making itself known. And I come this afternoon and I look and I really am pleased to see this is not really the general AGM, as you would call it. This is a second aspect of it. And to see so many turn up, I'm very pleased. I'm also pleased of the different interests that they have dealt with to get the group of the CCRP together. They have seminars, they have meetings, they have social events that bring seniors together. Because if you do not have that kind of, especially social events, seniors get lonely. I say, when you work in a department, whether it's government, private or public, you are somebody today, but tomorrow, you're not really anybody. You are a was. And keeping together in a group like CCRP and like my retired nurses, we just enjoy our company together. We feel that we are living still. We're not at home sitting down. So I really compliment Mrs. Larchin on how she is progressing with this group, and I think she found it very satisfactory to bring us together as seniors and to let us recognize that we still have a worth and work to do for nation building. I was very surprised and elated when the committee, the executive, decided to give me last year one of the Living Legend awards. And so I have the responsibility, and I'm very pleased of doing it, to talk about CCRP anytime. Like I said, my retired nurses, we meet once a month, and CCRP is on our agenda every month. We have to find out what is going on, who went where, and that sort of thing.
I'm just asking Jamaicans to come on board with us to support CCRP. Let us make sure that we show our wonderful elders, our seniors, how much they're appreciated. And let this be a reminder to all of us who are younger to plan for our retirement.
Your business matters. Business Access TV offers you the most innovative and effective advertising solution for your business, specializing in B2B sales, cost-effective solutions, the customers you want, the repetition you need. No matter the size and nature of your company, your business matters.
Call us at 876-291-6233 or 876-376-4225. Email sales@batvja.com.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange wishes to help to develop the social sector. To that end, they have formed the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange, which is a safe, efficient, and transparent platform that aims to promote social projects that build Jamaica and will inure to the benefit of all persons living in the country.
The Jamaica Stock Exchange is a company that encourages and mobilizes capital for the main market, and that is the market that is not the social sector. Now, the Jamaica Social Stock Exchange is really geared towards the social sector to help to solve social problems in the field of health, education, about children, environment. Those are some of the things that we consider social problems. And so it is to mobilize the capital, allow persons who have a desire to invest in a social good, to invest in the social stock exchange. It is designed in two parts. In phase one, where we look at social investment, and phase two, where we look at social impact investment. Now, in phase one, really what we are saying is it is donation. An organization will have a social issue and design it into a project or a program and invite Jamaicans or persons within the diaspora or the entire world to fund this program. Now, in phase two, you're going to get a return on investment, which is not social. You will be getting shares, natural shares, as you would get if you invested in the Jamaica Stock Exchange. And what you'll get is a return on capital, which is possibly dividend or an appreciation in that share. The Jamaica Social Stock Exchange does more than ask for the funding of these programs, but goes beyond that in terms of monitoring, ensuring that these programs are meeting the targets and the reason for them to have asked for funding in the first place. When we look at this new sector, it is important because holistically, if you do not look on the social sector, you do not improve the other sectors. We want to encourage all businesses in Jamaica to have a corporate social responsibility because it is good for encouraging and the growth and development of businesses.
Hi, it's Novia MacDonald-White, Senior Associate Editor at the Jamaica Observer. And guess what? You are watching Business Access Television.
Stay with us.
Welcome to this very special luncheon that is a celebration of a phenomenal woman who is dear to our hearts. A woman whose name denotes both her aura and emotion she most often evokes in those who have the pleasure of being in her presence. Joy. And you know, this makes me feel like singing one of the first songs I learned. Joy, joy, my heart is full of joy. All right, no more. This wonderful lady is the hallmark of a truly great human being. Every great dream begins with a dreamer. Always remember, you have within you the strength, the patience, and the passion to reach for the stars and to change the world. These words were once spoken by Harriet Tubman, a woman who carved her name in history as an abolitionist and a civil rights activist in the United States. We also find that they aptly describe the journey that Joy spent, a woman who is living her dreams today because of her own strength and passion. Joy perpetually shows her care for humanity by being mentor and advisor to others on health, welfare, education, counseling, consoling, employment, and the list goes on and on. I'm sure you two know of several examples Joy truly cares about us, doesn't she? Joy joined Jerry Nephew Limited in 1981, and over the past 35 years, she has blazed a remarkable trail, and her influence and presence has helped to make Upton Estate Brands become one of the finest premium aged spirits brands globally. During her 20 years as master blender, a historic role that she took on with her usual positive outlook and quiet